On this channel, I usually discuss more complex and deep topics like masculinity or building your aesthetic best body, dopamine, maybe addiction, social media. But today I wanted to throw in something more chill, something more cringe, talking about alpha and sigma and beta males. But hey, for the lack of better terms, let's just stick to alpha. And that's what we're going to be discussing in this video. How to become instantly alpha, to command more respect, to be more charismatic and confident. Now, I understand that there are some people, small percentage of dudes who don't really want to do that. They're really okay and comfortable with living in the shadow. But I also know the majority of guys, they want to get some attention, not in a pathetic like ego type of way, but you want some attention on you. You want to attract some attention, to attract a beautiful girl, to attract a job, to attract an interview or anything like that. So obviously you need some tools, you need some skills in order to maximize your looks, maximize your presentation, because you are a personal brand. You are what other people see when they first see you, right? Like they're not gonna see your personality, they're not gonna see your values and your priorities, etc. They're gonna see you, they're gonna see your appearance and your visual representation of you. So if you're wondering what the point of this video is, it's to give you the most simplest tips and tricks to become more alpha. You know, in better words, could be more charismatic, more confident, and more appealing in a couple of seconds or even instantly. Alright, not gonna waste your time. Let's start with the number one. Number one is gonna be size matters. Now, there's been a study conducted that found out that 58% of people from Fortune 500 are 6 feet or taller. Now, if you compare that to the general public, like how much are we? 7 to 8 billion people worldwide. 6 feet and above, those people are only 14% of the population. I understand the Fortune 500 is mostly dominated by men, and men are usually taller than women, right? That's like the basic knowledge. But also, it's true that when you are a tall person, when you are strong, when you're big, when you're good looking, or maybe you have this power, appeal, when you have all of these natural predispositions, it's really easy for you to command respect, provided that you have all the skills and all the characteristics. Obviously, you can be the biggest guy and then have zero confidence in yourself. Now, what that also means for general public or for other people, especially for people who are shorter, right? Instead of choosing like baggy and oversized clothes, which will look you very short and kind of minimizes your stature, instead of doing that, why don't you opt for more slim fit clothes, more minimalistic colors, which will outline the shape of your body and maybe kind of compensate for the lack of height. Obviously, I'm not saying that being short doesn't mean you cannot be a leader, command respect, or anything like that. I know quite a lot of people, including many people from the history, who are short but have still accomplished many impressive things in their lives. So number one, size matters. Use this information however you want to use. It could be for your height, could be for your, I don't know, stature. If you want to like bulk up and build some muscle and look more muscular, jacked and strong, it could also help. Number two is gonna be, there's no second chance for first impression. Now, if this doesn't make you instantly alpha or instantly good looking and charismatic, I don't know what does. Because first impression is one of the most important things that you can do to make people like you or to make people more attracted to you. Because look, as I said, there's no second chance for first impression. Like if your first impression was crap, I'm sorry, but people are gonna have the same type of associations with you. A couple of years ago, I was watching this YouTuber guy and he says that whenever you're going to a classroom or maybe to your job or to maybe a new environment, right? And then you get introduced. So for example, hey, meet this guy, his name is whatever, greet him, etc. And then you go and take your seat. Instead of opening the door and just like, hey, okay, that's cool, whatever, and just like going, sitting there, why don't you just like keep your chest up and kind of analyze all of the people, look them in the eye, and maybe even intentionally try to intimidate them. Try to command the room and command respect. Now, this might sound kind of cringy to many of you, but I have actually used this one when I was in university. I used to, like sometimes when I would be late to my classes or my lectures, I would just open the door and say, hey, can I come in? And then as I'm walking to my seats, I would just like look at people, analyze who's here, who's not there. Now, I do understand some of you might say, hey, this is kind of insecure. Why would you want to intimidate people? You know, you don't have to do that, all of those things. Like this is kind of toxic. But the truth is, making a very good first impression and talking about insecurities and toxic, like those things don't really have anything in common. You either make a good impression or you don't. So the bottom line is, first impression is very important. Keep your chest up, have a very good posture, keep an eye contact, and you're good to go. Number three, how to become more alpha, more charismatic, and more commanding is to take up more space and kind of look bigger. This one comes more from a standpoint of like being insecure and ego and all of these things. Like some people don't really have to be screaming and aggressive and, you know, show off their masculine qualities just because they want to be perceived as masculine. But you can use it, you can not use it. I'm not trying to say that, hey, this is what you have to do. I'm saying that usually when people like take up more space. They're more relaxed, you know, hey, how are you? Just like being very chill, more relaxed than others, instead of like sitting like this clinched up. When you are just like this in a chill manner, chill vibe, people will actually sense that. Again, this is a very weird trick, weird subconscious thing. You don't have to be actively doing this thing, but you just notice that when people take more space, they come off as more intimidating, more commanding. Simply saying if you're looking small, or maybe you're sitting like clinched up like this, people won't be associating the words like leadership and masculinity and commanding respect. All of these buzzwords, they won't be associating those words with you. So you might as well control more space and look bigger. One of the examples from TV shows is Peaky Blinders. The Shelby brothers, if you have noticed, they walk like this, you know, their arms very wide, taking up more space, being like the big guy who can solve the problems and intimidate people. Number 4, how to become more alpha instantly is to control your tone. Now look, this is a very simple equation here. The higher the pitch of your voice, the less respect it's gonna command. The lower it is, the more respect. Now, it doesn't have to be necessarily like a low voice, but at least it has to sound good. It has to sound commanding. It has to sound clear and concise. There's been one experiment, not really sure about the sources, but basically a person was standing in the pavement outside, right? And he made like a box, like he drew a box with a chalk, and he was standing right near that box, drawing in that pavement and saying the words something like, "Don't get in the box," or something like that, right? So the first experiment that he tried was trying with a very high pitched voice. So for example, he would say like, "Don't get in the box," and nobody would care. Like people would just like walk past by and just continue with their day. Now on the contrary, he would try the very same experiment, but with a very low pitched voice. So instead of saying, "Don't get in the box," he would say something like, "Don't get in the box," like very demanding and intimidating voice. It might sound very obvious, but you also know that women, they prefer more deep voice. Instead of talking in a high pitch like, "No, it's okay," etc. Like take the time to take a deep breath, control your voice, control the pitch. It's a muscle over here. You can train this, you can control this and talk with a voice that people want to listen to. The next one's gonna be pretty easy and short. It's to control your posture. Obviously, everyone knows that you have to have your power posture, or keep your chest up, and it just helps with feeling better about yourself. In fact, keeping like this power pose like this, standing like this for some time increases testosterone by 20%. So if you're feeling down, if you're feeling kind of shy and maybe even stressed, just stand like this before anything, before maybe a concert, maybe a date, maybe an interview, so you feel more confident, more comfortable about yourself, and you can take on the day. Now the last step, how to become an alpha, is a very interesting one. This one I've never heard before, but I've just like seen this in one of the videos. It says that if you want to become an alpha in a group, so we're talking about like social dynamics, right? You have to take down the alpha which is already in the group and undermine him. Now look, I know quite a lot of people, they don't believe in alpha and beta, and they think that this is some like dinosaur shit and whatever, but like you either accept this or you don't. You're gonna use it, or people are gonna use it against you. So how do you undermine that alpha? You do that by complimenting other people, but not the alpha, right? So alpha feels like he's not getting enough attention. He has to get some attention. That's how he stays an alpha. That's how he commands respect and attention. And you become kind of like the part of the group and become the new leader, the new alpha. That's it for this video. Kind of a corny topic of this video, but hey, as I said, either you use it or other people use it against you. Hit the thumbs up, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.